All right, chapter 11 of the Physics of Heaven by Judy Franklin and Ellen Davis. Let's read our little paragraph on the side before we jump in. Synthosthesia, a lovely term that we learned about last chapter. She says, imagine that you are seeing a cat and you taste oranges. Or maybe when you hear people arguing, you see fireworks. Perhaps you are completely convinced that the number 3 tastes salty and is female. If you experience like these, you might have synthosthesia. Yes, you might. That's a disorder. The word synthosthesia comes from the two Greek words syn, together, and athesia, perception. So it literally means joined perception. This affects approximately 4% of the population. It's also commonly experienced by those who meditate and have reported by individuals under the influence of, now here's the list, ready? Psychedelic drugs, after a stroke, a result of blindness or deafness. It can also occur with autism and epilepsy more often than chance predicts. The most common effects are gene colored, as associating color with letters or numbers, the sound color. The least common are sound odor, temperature color, taste touch smell, vision touch, color pain, and colored personalities. Any combination of senses is possible. So I like they just kind of flat out admit, yeah, you can get this when you have a severe issue. Like you're taking psychedelic drugs or you had a stroke or you're blind, you became blind or deaf or have autism or experience epilepsy. You're like, yeah. And so then your the brain crosses wires and then all of a sudden you are associating a number with colors. That doesn't mean that those numbers are colors. I hope we understand this. I hope we understand what the nature of a disorder is and that something isn't functioning correctly and that even they admit that this isn't consistent. It's not like the people that are associating numbers with colors even have the same colors to the numbers they're associating with. Right? But let's leave that. Then they actually have two paragraphs in this before we jump into chapter 11. It says music near-death experiences, and most of us have heard people that had a near-death experience that see the light. And then she says, well, this guy at this state college university had said that 50% of near-death experiences also report hearing music. And Dr. Funk played various kinds of music for 60 near-death experiencers, and they found that they identified New Age synthesized music as nearest to what they had heard. Wow, isn't it fascinating how the New Age is just everything we want it to be? I mean, man, Christianity is lame-o. These New Agers with their New Age synthesized music, that's what people are hearing. Oh, I've got a little question for you. These 60 people that had a near-death experience, were they Christian? So in their near-death experience, where were they going? Were they going to hell? And did they hear New Age music in hell? I don't know. That would be a simple question I would ask before I would just go, yum, 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 eat this all up. Oh, what's that? New Age synthesizer? Give me some of that. She said, not only do people who have near-death experiences hear music, but they also reported that everything is alive and singing. They say that trees and plants and flowers sing and colors can be heard and sound is on the level beyond hearing, but actually vibrates inside their heads and bodies. Whatever. Okay. Where's all this coming from? Where's all this recorded information of people having near-death experiences? Like, all right, I don't take your word for it. Sorry. Moving on. Chapter 11. Thank goodness this one's going to be a bit short because half the chapter she's just talking about good old quantum physics. Quantum physics. Back at it again. So first she kind of craps all over Sir Isaac Newton because when he was sitting down and the apple fell on his head and he had an aha moment about gravity, and Newton kind of had all these physics, and he went on to create the physics laws that explain gravity, movement, system works, heat, sound, light, electricity, and magnetism. Newton's physics has put men on the moon, planes in the air, cars on the road, and skyscrapers in our city, and computers in our home. Yeah, but Newton didn't get it. Like, then we're going to go on and say, but he assumed that this was like a machine and that the world is separated from us and we can tinker with it all we want, but it has no influence on us. Oh, silly Newton. He didn't know that at the core of every being is a vibration and we're all vibrating together. So let's crap all over Newton, who put the man on the moon. What did quantum physicists get us? I don't know. But yeah, so he missed it. And then they're like, oh, the mystery of light. Everyone was happy with Newton's explanation until the 1900s when we discovered quantum physics. And we discovered that light was a bit complicated, and it was more like maybe it's packets of energy instead of just waves. And then this whole branch came up of quantum physics. And through quantum physics, scientists have discovered at the most basic level of existence that everything is constantly vibrating energy, and that every particle also possesses a wave character, and every wave possesses a particular character, a particle character. And it's all alive, and it's all connected, and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, and what I love is even in the next paragraph, she acknowledges that even the scientists that study this say it's weird and they don't really get it or understand it. And so here's what she says about a few things. Studying the quantum realm seem baffled by it and constantly use the words like shock, mystery, and weird when explaining their findings. One of the founders of quantum physics remarked, those who are not shocked when they first come across quantum theory cannot possibly have understood it. And somebody else said, can nature possibly be so absurd as to seem to us in these atomic experiments? Quantum physics theories seem to be more like science fiction than science fact, but they have been proven repeatedly in many different experiments by many different physicists and have been spectacularly successful at predicting the behavior of all sorts of subatomic systems. Yeah. And here are just a few mind-boggling discoveries. And this is where it's like, I don't even feel like going into all this nonsense. That everything exists and the essence is energy, and everything, even solid matter, like a chair or a tree, vibrates and has this energy deep at the deepest level, even though we can't measure it or see it. But that's true. More I'm interested in with her interpretation of it. So then she says, the rise of quantum mysticism. So because of this great deal of strangeness afoot in quantum physics, it has inevitably attracted metaphysics interpretation. Most of the interpretation has leaned towards using quantum physics to reinforce Eastern mystic beliefs about the nature of oneself, of the reality of the power of the human consciousness to create and manipulate that reality. In his book, Science and the New Age Challenge, this guy writes, the first major concept is that the world we live in is not the real world, but it's an illusion. Contrary to the concept that because our childhood imprinting and societal programming, we don't see the world as it really is. The second major quantum mysticism concept is that the universe is unified, interconnected, and whole. This translates to the idea because all is one, then all must be God, which means that you are God and your consciousness is an aspect of the divine consciousness. And the third key to this idea is because reality needs an observer to make its assumed material form. Human consciousness, acting as individualized expression of divine consciousness, has the power to create material reality. Haha, isn't that great? You're God too. Several early quantum physicists were inspired by mystical ideas, and gives names of all these people. And quantum healing and blah, blah, blah. Then she talks about Chopra's book about quantum healing. In 1993, her best-selling book, Ageless Bodies, Timeless Mind, claimed that healing and reversal of aging could be accomplished by adopting a quantum worldview. I'd really like to know how that worked out for Chopra. Are they young now? Are they in their teens? Or are they old and possibly dead? I don't even know where they're at. Did it work? I doubt it. Then she says, the latest and perhaps most well-known theoretical physicist to embrace a mystical interpretation is Dr. Fred. In his appearance in the 2004 film, What the Blank Do We Know? Lent scientific credibility to the New Age philosophies presented in the film and popularized term, popping a quiff. What the Blank became a grassroots phenomenon. It was based on the teachings of supposedly channeled from Ramtha, the 35,000-year-old spirit of a warrior from the lost continent of Lemuria. What the heck? 2 years later, in 2006, Wolf appeared in The Secret, a film introducing the law of attraction, a concept that exfoliated the quantum physics that the observer can create material reality through intent. The Secret was based on New Thought teaching from the early 1900s, and like What the Blank, was influenced by channeled messages from disembodied entities. Oh my gosh. So obviously demonic, right? This was all demonic. And so far, she's not agreeing with it, and I hope she's not agreeing with any of this stuff, but she's just saying this stuff exists. And this is all coming from the quantum mechanics and all this junk. They're interpreting it this way. Yeah. Ugh. And then it's like, if there were anything similar to a New Age Bible, it would be A Course in Miracles. This is a self-study curriculum which aims to help the readers achieve spiritual transformation through embracing mystical interpretations of quantum physics. Helen wrote this book based on what she called an inner voice she identified as Jesus. Yeah, I'm sure it was Jesus. Over 2 million copies of A Course in Miracles have been distributed worldwide since it first became available in sale in 1976. Modern culture is presently awash with mystical interpretation of quantum physics, such as the law of attraction, the belief that everything has its own vibrational level and like attracts like, so to attract what you want, you must change your vibrational level to match it. Or the law of intent, which is the belief that our intent can change physical reality or material things manifest from the realm of the unseen. And the law of thought vibration. Your thoughts and emotions have either positive or negative vibrations that will cause manifestations in your life and things experiences with similar vibrations. So I hope we're clear that all of this is garbage. All of this is wrong. None of it is biblical. All of it is evil. And what do we do with counterfeit and the occult and this nonsense? You get rid of it. You don't need to practice it. You don't need to dive into it. There's nothing there. Nothing to see here. Moving on, right? She goes on to say, however, many quantum concepts appropriated by the New Age are actually distortions of Christian spiritual truths, as you will discover in the following chapters. Yes. Oh boy. I can't wait to read the next chapters to discover how the New Age are actually distortions of Christian spiritual truths. Let's jump into that. All right. Thank goodness. That's all I'm going to do in chapter 11. Good job. Right now, at least, Ellen, you didn't get the top of the crazy train yet. Yeah. Congratulations. Let's see what chapter 12 has to say. Next time.